guys, this is Naima and welcome to Foxy. Today I'm doing one of my favorite quick go-to looks that actually kind of makes an impact even if you're not wearing any other makeup except this, which is the colored liner. So the colored liner is usually something that's a trend that goes on in the summer and spring and everything, but I think it is something that I would love to wear through the year. And a lot of people actually love it. There are people who only wear colored liner and no kajal, no any other form of eyeliner. And it's also been featured in a couple of videos that I saw in the top 10 trends of 2019. So this is what I'm going to show you. So I'm using my favorite electric blue from Sephora. So there are like liquid colored liners, there are colored kajals. So it's very important on how each one of them are, applied the same way, but kajal, when you apply liner, tends to like come off, etc. But I'm going to show you how to do it the right way. This is my technique, my version that I've been using over the years. First of all, I'm going to use a blue eye pencil, just a little bit as a base before I put on my liquid liner. Even this can just be plain, simply worn as colored liner, but I'm using this as a base before I apply the final color. So this will work as a base and make sure that this liquid doesn't come off, though this is a mattifying waterproof one. Sometimes liquid liners, whether black or colored, usually need like, unless it's not like gel, usually need a base to stick onto, and that's why I use the previous color on top. This is how I like my colored liner looking, and because it's an electric blue, it's already popping. But in case I want to further kind of mattify this or make this more vibrant, I'm just going to take a blue eyeshadow on a brush and just kind of like pat it on top to make it a little more visible and very long lasting. And if you feel like you want to go crazy and all out, you can apply some at the bottom. This is how I would do my colored eyeliner. It's like you need literally nothing else. I know there's a lot going on with my hair being red and blah blah blah, but I feel like if you can pull it off, colored liners really make a statement. You can always add glitter or add some color at the bottom. Even though you've done like a blue colored liner, you can always apply blue mascara and go over the top. This is a little pigmented glittery eyeliner that I'm using from NYX. This is kind of just to like pop it up and like make it a little dressy if you want. You can always add a glitter liner. This is just plain shimmer that I'm gonna just do on top, especially like if you're wearing this in the day and if you don't have time to change into like a new look, you can always like go over your colored liner or your normal black liner with like a shimmer liner to, you know, give it that little party feel. I'm not applying too much because I don't want my blue to die out completely. And that's it. Like colored liner, the only thing is that the application, everything stays the same. It's just that if you're using like a colored kajal to draw the colored liner, you'd ideally use like an eyeshadow on top of it to pack it and make it more matte or like waterproof. I hope this video was helpful and these tips and beauty hacks were helpful. Do leave your comments below and let us know if there's anything else you'd like to see. Do not forget to follow Foxy Makeup Tips on Instagram. You can also find me on Instagram as Makeup and Hair by Maliha. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Maliha loves. Hi guys and welcome to Foxy. Today I'm doing a tutorial on how to do a simple dewy soft makeup look using drugstore products. One very most commonly asked question and messages that I've been getting is that please do a drugstore look, because a lot of people do not want to buy and invest in high-end products because they may not end up using them. But let me tell you that You can do any look with any product of your choice as far as you do it correctly, using the products correctly, you know, keeping steps and everything in line. I think you can achieve any look with any product if you do it right. Now that we're here and we're talking about drugstore products, I'm going to use a few of my favorites and do this look for you. So let's get started. So there's no makeup on my face. As you can clearly tell, there's no makeup on my face. But I'm using, I have already moisturized my face with the Nivea Soft Moisturizer. So this is done, my prep is done. So for my prep today, I've only just used moisturizer and a little bit of lip balm. So I'm going to start with using the Smashbox Primer. I think I've spoken about this in one of my videos. I'm just going to use this primer not to particularly make my makeup last longer, but just to, it's also like a starting and setting spray, so just to kind of refresh. It's very hydrating. So this is just to give it a little hydrating effect to make sure. I mean, I have normal skin, so it doesn't really get dry, and this product is highly recommended for people with like dry skin. So moving on to the look. I'm going to start. I'm not a fan of filling eyebrows, and especially because I have thicker eyebrows, so I'm going to completely skip that step. So I'm going to start with the eyes. I'm using the Lakme 9 to 5 palette. It's Silk Root is what the name of the palette is. So there are like these 4 pretty colors. There is like a light pink, dark, and there's like a bronze and like a blue. So I think I'm going to use the bronze and mix it maybe with a little bit. I'm just going to take some of it on my finger. I'm not using a brush. Just onto my eyelids. Because I want to keep this look super dewy. It's something that you can definitely wear in the day or at night if you just like kind of hype it up a bit more. That's it, just patting on some eyeshadow to get that little frosty, glowy effect. Now I'm going to move straight to mascara because there's nothing else that I want to do. I want to skip the eyeliner. I'm keeping this look super simple. You can do eyeliner, that's super optional. And I'm using the L'Oreal Volume Million Lashes Mascara because I have mentioned this before that mascara is the key to great looking eyes. Not too much though. That's it, and that's exactly what I'm going to be doing for my eyes. I want to keep it super simple. You can always add whatever you like depending on what time of the day it is and what kind of look that you're doing, but I'm just focusing on using drugstore products and doing my version of a minimalistic look here. Now I'm going to jump onto the base. The reason why I didn't do base first and then the eyes later, which is what a lot of people have been taught, a lot of people do, and it's okay to use that method. It's just that I prefer doing my eyes first because sometimes there's fallout of eyeshadow. So instead of going through, you know, putting eyeshadow and then cleaning your base and everything, I just do eyes, clean up if there's anything. Luckily there isn't here, and then do base. So that's what I'm going to start doing. Now it's very important, like I spoke in one of my other videos, I think I was doing a review of a product where I clearly mentioned the importance of corrector and concealer. So I'm using this Bolyglow concealer and corrector stick. My shade is Biscuit. I'm going to start with the corrector. So when you're using a corrector, you need to identify the areas that you want to correct. In my case, it's clearly my dark circles and like these spots on the side that I want to cover. So I'm going to start with just adding corrector in those spaces first. The coverage and the areas and everything completely depends on how much you want to cover and what you don't want to cover, because it depends from skin type, texture and everything, the kind of look that you're looking for mainly. If it's something that you want to do in the day, you know, correcting is not even important. If you want to keep it super simple, that is. So if you can see me looking weird and all this red, it's the areas that I need to correct. Now, what is really important is don't just leave the corrector out there. You need to blend it out because you're going to put concealer over this. So you need to avoid a thick layer. We don't want to look cakey. Because there's going to be concealer and foundation and everything over this. And whenever you're doing any look, and especially a full face, remember that your base should be well done, because that is what is going to, on the whole, show up as an entire look, and it's so important for your base to be correct. Now I'm going to take the concealer and mainly put it on the areas that have the corrector, of course, because I need to cover the corrector, and there might be a few other places that I will use concealer as well. So I'm going to be putting liquid foundation over this, so I don't want to put a very thick layer. And I am personally someone who doesn't like to do full coverage, and especially not when it's really not really needed. Just blending out well. You need to blend out well because you cannot have the corrector being visible. So this is exactly how much I'm going to conceal. Maybe if I was probably doing this look for a wedding or something like super heavy, I would have probably gone a little more onto the correcting and concealing bit. Now I'm moving on to liquid foundation. I'm using the Nykaa Skin Genius. I'm gonna literally take this out on my hand, pick it up onto the brush and just buff all over my face. Make sure that you're blending well at all times, because sometimes the brush leaves marks on your face and you want to obviously avoid that. Applying foundation on your neck is optional. If you can match the color, then great. Otherwise, you may want to put some there as well. And then to finish my base, I'm going to use the Nykaa Compact. Under my eyes, because the skin out here is slightly thinner than the rest of the face, and you have to be careful so that it doesn't crease. And of course my T-zone, which is the most important area because we tend to sweat the most here. And then the rest. And also I'm not putting it on the entire face because I want to keep this look dewy and I don't want to mattify it. So just like in the areas that need it, and then just kind of brush it out around the rest. So this completes my base. Now I haven't done 100% coverage because I prefer it like that, especially when you want to do a dewy look or something looking super flawless. You cannot have a cakey base. So that completely depends on how much you want to cover and how much you want to use and how much you want to not use. It's completely up to you. Let's move on to the blush. Now I was actually looking for, I kept thinking which blush I'm going to use for this look, but then I was like, I'm going to actually show you something really cool. There's this lipstick from Bolly Glow that I'm going to actually use as a cheek tint. So what I'm going to do is, there are no rules in makeup, so I know this is a lip gloss and I'm just going to take some of it, just dot it around my cheek, and I'm going to take a buffer brush. Make sure that you blended this well. One tip that I want to give you, if you're not someone who uses makeup regularly and you may want to ace this look, powder your face after you have applied this little lip gloss cheek tint on your face. It'll be easier for you to blend it. Now that I have completed this step, I'm going to take the same eyeshadow palette that I used previously and pick up like this white shimmery color. And I'm going to use it as highlighter. This is what is going to give me my glowy effect. I'm going to use a little on my brow bone just to add like the extra glow. My T-zone, just a little bit, because I don't want to like look like I'm going for a party. I'm just going to avoid that. Also, what I may want to do is I'm going to take the same color, just a little under my eyes. Just want to add a little more, you know, looking fresher. Putting eyeshadow on the inner corners of your eye is something that actually makes your eyes look more open, because it's the lighter colors that you put in the inner corner and usually the darker colors that you put at the outer corner. So when you apply a little eyeshadow on your inner corner, it kind of makes your eye look more open and slightly bigger. We usually do this when someone has like really close set eyes. So if you're watching this and you have really close set eyes, I think this would be perfect for you. Okay, now I'm gonna do the last step, and that is lips. So I have two colors here that I think I'm gonna mix. One is from NYX and one is a very light pink from Rimmel. So two colors because I really like the whole nudish pink. And this is the one from NYX is like a nude, and this is a more pinkish color, so I just thought that I could experiment and use both together. This has to be my base because the other one is slightly glossy and this is more like one of those glosses that kind of tends to mattify, which will also make your lipstick last longer. I'm going to go over with the slightly pinker color. Also, this is not a completely matte lipstick. It is semi-glossy but not glossy. It's more like it's got a more moisturizing look. I feel like with dewy looks, sometimes if you add a little bit of gloss on the pout, it also kind of looks nice. I haven't done it, but that's completely optional. Like a transparent gloss wouldn't hurt at all. These are my favorite drugstore products and I highly recommend them. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Do let me know if there are any queries for the same or if there's anything else you'd like to see. Please leave your comments below. Don't forget to follow Foxy's makeup tips on Instagram, and you can find me on Instagram as Makeup and Hair by Maliha. Thank you for watching. Maliha loves. Hi guys, this is Naima and welcome to Foxy. So today I'm going to show you and talk about the winged liner. What about the wing liner? Most people are struggling with getting the perfect wing liner, and believe me, I struggled for the longest time. And more than getting the perfect wing liner, I struggled with getting both my wings looking the same. Whether it was on myself or at work, I had to remove it and do it again and again. Now this is something that I want to tell you comes with practice. The only way you're getting the perfect wing liner is that if you're going to apply wing liner every single day. Believe me, that's the only way to get it. There's no other way to master it. I'm going to definitely show you how to apply wing liner, but before that there is something that a lot of people don't see, and that is their eye shape. Understanding the kind of eye you have and then modifying the kind of wing liner is very important, because it's like today if I wear like a cat eye, it's not necessary that the same cat eye is going to look the same or nice on another person. Not for anything else, but if you have like hooded eyes, or if you have eyes that are small and you put eyeshadow and eyeliner, and when you open your eye, none of it is even visible. Like for the ones who have like a lot of lid space are literally the luckiest ones, because you can like, I don't know, make some funny kind of artwork also there. So let's start with application, and I'm going to show you an easy way in which you can apply wing liner, and once you figure out the kind of eye you have. So my eyes are, I have a decent amount of lid space, and I don't like to make very thick wing liner or having that really dramatic long wing, but there are people who love it. I'm just going to show you a basic technique in which you can apply the wing liner. And one more thing I want to tell you that is very important is using gel eyeliner is one of the easiest ways to make a wing liner. I know there are people who swear by liquid liner and everything, and it's not like you can't make the wing liner with liquid liner, you can, but sometimes when you're kind of applying it with the brush to kind of get the wing becomes difficult. So if you have gel liner and if you have a brush that is this thin, it's easier to apply. This is what I'm comfortable with, and I have actually seen a lot of people do that, and they also find that it's the easiest way to draw the wing. So I'm going to show you a basic technique in which you can draw the wing liner and kind of perfectly get your wing, which will of course come with practice. So once you see this, you'll understand better once you've identified your eye type and what you need to exactly do. So let's get started. So I'm using the Inglot gel liner. So I'm gonna, and gel dries out really quickly, so remember to take it on your brush and like turn it upside down. I'm gonna take some of this on my brush, don't take too much. Now, I'm going to pull. You always start with the eye that you're most comfortable with first. I'm going to stretch my eye a little bit, because it's very important when you're drawing the wing to like pull your eye so that it defines well. There are two ways of doing this. You could start from the outer corner, or you could start from the inner corner. I am very comfortable doing it from the outer corner. Remember that when you start from the inner corner, it has to go from thin to thick. But I'm starting from my outer corner, and you'll know exactly why. But not right at the end. I'm just going to go like, say like a little less than half. I'm going to start with drawing my line very close to my lash line, because if it is thin, you can always make it thicker. But then if you start with a thick line from the beginning, you'll have to clean it up and all that. So I'm applying this very close to my lash line. I'm still not taking it all the way to the end. So it's like, if you look at it this way, it goes all the way from the inner corner to halfway. There's a reason I did this. The reason I did this is because when you start drawing, and if you completely draw till the end and then try and extend the wing, you get a very like sharp line that doesn't look like it's evenly flowing. This way, because when I've stopped halfway, I'm going to start drawing my wing and moving in the direction of taking my wing upwards slightly. That's how you get that little elevated eye. And this is a very good eyeliner technique for the ones who have like eyes that droop downwards. Now, mostly when you're doing the wing for the first time, or if you feel like you haven't perfected it, you tend to make a mistake. We all make mistakes after so many years of experience, blah, blah, blah. It just happens. So I've just kind of like this little extra like liner that I have put there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a little bit of makeup remover on a Q-tip and just kind of clean that area out. You don't have to panic and think that you have to do the entire eyeliner again. The tip can always be cleaned out. I'm going to repeat this on the other eye in the same exact way. Pull my eye. Now, how thick and how long, short you want the wing is, again, in my opinion, according to the type of eye. But then again, it's also completely depends on the look that you want to go with. You don't have to put all this in, I'm correcting. So guys, this is how I perfect and have been perfecting my wing liner over the years. Trust me, we all make mistakes. I still do sometimes. It's all about how you clean it and how you rectify it, and put wing liner every single day, and that's how you're going to master it. Then of course you add mascara and lashes and everything. Believe me, it looks great. Wing liner can really make or break a look, so you need to be smart in what you're doing and how well you're doing it. I hope this video was helpful and I was able to teach you how not too difficult it is to get wing liner. Just practice and you'll be fine. And trust me, for beginners, just use gel liner. It's way easier than using liquid liner to apply it. Do follow Foxy Makeup Tips on Instagram. You can find me on Instagram as well as Makeup and Hair by Maliha. Thank you for watching. Maliha loves. Hi guys, welcome to Foxy. Today I'm doing another product review, or rather products review of these primers that I got from Smashbox. And I'm going to tell you about how each one of them is different from the other. What is most important actually is a lot of people do not know the use of primer and why it is so important in your makeup step. It's not something that you have to wear every day. It is ideally something that you put when you're doing like a full face of makeup. So if I'm doing makeup on myself in an entire face, which is very rare, and or if I'm like dressing a bride up, or just because of course primer, like everybody knows, is something that is one step up to make your makeup last longer. Besides brides, I would use it for anybody else's face that I'm working on because it's so important. So these are three different kinds that I want to talk about, being my favorites in addition to my kit. So let's start with the Set and Refresh primer from Smashbox, which is, like you can see, it's completely water based, and I'm going to spray a little bit on my hand here. Smells also really good. It's super light, so it's like the minute I sprayed it, I felt like super light on my hand. So you can imagine that if I had to spray this on your face, like you wouldn't feel like there's too much product happening from the beginning. So this is a Set and Refresh spray. The name says it all. It's something that I'd use in the beginning when I start, and it's something that I'd use in the end after I'm done. So why we use this twice is because of course primer, like I said, is the most important thing after you finish your entire skincare prep and moisturizing and cleansing and everything. You start with primer before you start any look. Honestly, this is something that is very hydrating because it's completely water based and light. So it's something that even like on a really hot day or something, is just something that you'll just want to like spray to like refresh your face, and it's all good. The purpose of doing this is that when I start doing makeup, instead of applying like, you know, something else that might be like an extra add-on layer, I'd use this to spray so that you feel a little refreshed. And that's when I start my makeup. And of course primer makes your makeup last longer, and that is something, particularly this one, that I would use at the end to set your makeup to make it stay. Now the other two that I have, one is a reduced redness and one is a photo finish. So let's talk about the photo finish. So this is Smooth and Blur. The description says Smooth and Blur. So this from the previous one that I showed you is completely different because that's a spray, water based. So is this. This is lightweight. Even though when you like remove a little bit on your hand, I'm going to show you, it like seems a bit, you know, oily and greasy. But to be honest, this completely has disappeared and it's just completely oil free. So don't worry about having to apply this on your face and your face feeling oily. This is something that I would ideally use for someone who has a really dry skin texture, because even though it's not greasy or oily, it has that hydrating effect to kind of plump up your skin, which is so important before you start doing any look. So girls, this photo finish primer is what you need to have in your kits. Moving on to the reduced redness. This is green in color for a reason, which I'm going to tell you. Like the previous primer that I spoke about, this has the same effects of the primer, non-greasy, etc. But besides that, this green texture is very important. So this is called the reduced redness because its green texture is going to cut out the redness. Now when I talk about redness, these are your pimples or like the scars or the marks or any red that, I don't know if you can see a little bit that I have here, and this is something that I would use for that. So I'm going to take out a little bit on my hand. This is what it looks like. Now, even though I've applied this here like this is not something that you would really want to kind of apply on your entire face. I would ideally use it on the places that need it, which are your red marks or your pimples that leave marks behind. This is not completely corrective. Like we all know that the red is cut by the green element, and that's why we use a green corrector to go over the red marks before concealing. But this is not something that completely replaces the corrector. You'd use this as a primer to kind of like, you know, even out the texture and even out the redness, but you may have to use a red corrector over it depending on how bad or how intense the marks are. So these three products are of the same texture, lightweight, non-greasy, but each one of them has their own purposes and ways of priming your face. A primer is a must-have in anybody's I wouldn't say daily makeup routine, but that's completely optional. You can totally have it there. It's something that you would ideally use when you're doing an entire face, like I said before, and of course like a setting spray, and this does both for you rather than having another setting spray also. If you're not someone who likes to invest in too many products or somebody who likes to, you know, apply too many layers, I think this should work well for you. So I hope this video was helpful and I could review this well enough for you guys. Do leave your comments below and let us know if there's any query that you have related to this particular video or anything else you'd like to see. Don't forget to follow Foxy Makeup Tips on Instagram, and you can find me on Instagram as Makeup and Hair by Maliha. Thank you for watching. Maliha loves.